When most people think of the 0% tax haven, their minds drift to postcard perfect islands in the Caribbean like the Cayman Islands or the Bahamas, or the beautiful skylines of the Middle East, let's say Dubai, Bahrain, and Qatar. And some might even think of remote destinations like Vanuatu, Panama, or the bustling street of Hong Kong. But here's a secret very few talk about. Europe has its own hidden havens, not just like Monaco and Andorra, which by the way aren't part of the EU yet, but they sit right on the doorstep. But other countries and tiny states where your income tax can legally drop from usually 40 or 30% all the way to 10% or even zero. And that's right, as always, we do it the Emifast way, cutting through the noise, going above and beyond to help our clients. Entrepreneurs and global investors discover golden opportunities, whether it's optimizing taxes or saving more of their hard-earned wealth or securing a second residency. This is what we do. And I'm Zakaria, CEO and the founder of Emifast, and today I'm talking you inside Europe's most surprising low-tax jurisdictions. Places you've probably never heard of, but that could change the way you think about where you live, work, and grow your wealth. Starting with our list of places where you can legally pay zero income tax in Europe, and let's start our journey to one of the smallest and most unusual islands you've probably never heard of, and that is Sark. Tucked away in the Channel Island just off the coast of the Normandy in France, on the surface it feels like a world lost in time. With a population of barely 500 people, it feels like you've stepped straight into its fairy tale. But while Sark may not offer the buzz of city life or even the luxury of fancy driving cars, it offers something far more valuable to entrepreneurs and investors, and that's no personal income tax. And that's right, whether you earn 50,000 euros or 5 million euros, your income tax bill is 0%. The same applies, by the way, for capital gain tax, inheritance tax, and VAT. Of course, the island still needs revenue to run, and instead of taxing your salary or investments, Sark relies on smaller, more localized contributions. There is a property tax that depends on the size of your home, a personal capital tax that starts at just a few £100 a year and is capped at about £9,000. And if you ever buy real estate here, you will pay a one-time property transfer tax of 7.5%. Compared to mainland Europe, these amounts are tiny and for high earners almost symbolic. And becoming a resident of Sark is pretty easy. All you need to do is to spend just 90 days a year on the island and you can benefit from the regime. Now, business-wise, don't expect to find the global financial hub. Sark is small, its infrastructure is limited, and life moves very slow. It's less about running a company headquarter and more about finding a solitude, enjoying ultra-low tax living, or fitting Sark into a broader international structure. Now, Sark proves one more powerful point, and even in Europe, often seen as a high-tax continent, that 0% is possible, and that's why it earns the opening spot on our list. From the quiet charm of Sark, let's move into the heart of Eastern Europe, and that's Bulgaria. Now, unlike a tiny island and hidden state, Bulgaria is a full EU member, sitting at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, bordered by Greece, Turkey, and Romania, with the Black Sea to the east. Now, known for its mountains and the vibrant capital Sofia, Bulgaria has quietly become one of Europe's most underrated hubs for entrepreneurs and digital nomads. And here's the reason why. A flat 10% income tax, and that's right, whether you're a freelancer or a business owner, a high-earning professional, Bulgaria's personal income tax rate is locked at just 10%, and that's the lowest in the EU. And here's the reason why. Corporate tax is capped at 10% flat rate. So combine that with one of the lowest cost of living in the European Union, and suddenly you have a country where you both personal and business finances stretch further than almost everywhere else in Europe. For entrepreneurs, this means EU residency, access to a single market, and European banking, but without the heavy tax burden you face in places like Germany, France, or in Italy. Now, Bulgaria may not yet have had the glamour of the Western Europe, but for most who know where to look, it offers something far more valuable: a simple tax system, EU credibility, and one of the best value for money lifestyle on the continent. From Bulgaria, we move just across the border to Romania, another European Union country that has quietly become a magnet for entrepreneurs looking to cut their tax bill without leaving Europe. Just like its neighbor, Romania runs a flat 10% tax, no complicated brackets, no endless calculation, just 10%, whether you're making 30,000 euros or 300,000 euros, that doesn't matter. And for many types of business income, that also applies at flat 10%. But what makes Romania stand out is not just about low taxes, it's also about the opportunities. With a population of nearly 20 million, a fast-growing economy, and a booming tech scene, Romania is becoming one of Europe's rising stars. Now, cities like Bucharest are filled with startups, IT hubs, and outsourcing firms serving global clients. Now, for entrepreneurs and digital nomads, this means you're not just saving on taxes, but you're playing into a dynamic ecosystem as well, with EU residency, affordable living costs, and a strong access to talent. Now, to be clear, Romania has been adjusting some tax rules recently. So, for example, dividend tax moved up to 10% in 2025, and social contribution do add the total cost as well. But even with those, Romania still offers one of the lowest overall tax burden inside the EU. That mix of low tax, real market opportunity is what makes Romania stand out on the list. Leaving the European Union, our next stop takes us deep into the Balkans, and that is North Macedonia. Now, tourists come here for the beauty, but for entrepreneurs and investors, they come for something else, of course. Because what truly sets North Macedonia apart isn't just the scenery, it's the clarity of a tax system. So since 2023, the country has embraced a flat 10% personal income tax across the board, and whether it's salaries or self-employed income, capital gains or rental income, that doesn't matter at all. It will always be taxed at 10% tax rate. For entrepreneurs, this kind of predictability is goals. No complex brackets, no shifting thresholds, just one clear number, easy to plan for and easy to comply with. Combine that with low cost of living and you start to see why freelancers, consultants and small business owners are beginning to plant their roots here. Now, North Macedonia isn't a part of the EU yet, which means you don't get the full benefit of European market access or freedom at the moment. But its growing ties with Europe and its commitment to keeping taxes straightforward and competitive make it an attractive option for anyone who values simplicity and affordability. North Macedonia proves that sometimes the best opportunities aren't found in the obvious places, but in the quiet corners of Europe, where clarity, stability, and low taxes meet. Our journey now takes us to one of Europe's youngest and least expected destinations, which is Kosovo, a landlocked Balkan nation that declared independence in 2008. Kosovo is often associated with its history of struggle and rebuilding, but beneath that, it has quietly built one of the most straightforward tax systems in the region. Here's how it works. A personal income tax is a progressive scale, starting at 0%, then rising modestly and capped at just 10%. It means whether you're a freelancer earning a few thousand euros or an entrepreneur pulling in six figures, your top rate never goes beyond 10%. For businesses, the system is equally clear. Corporate profits are taxed at 10% flat, making Kosovo as competitive not just for individuals, but also for startups and small companies. But what makes Kosovo truly interesting for entrepreneurs isn't just the numbers, it's the cost of advantage. Now, the capital, Pristina, is one of the most affordable cities in Europe. Rent, food, and labor costs are a fraction of what you will pay in Western Europe. For digital nomads or lean businesses, a combination of low tax and low cost can be a game changer. Of course, there are some downsides. Now, Kosovo isn't a part of the EU. International recognition is still partial and infrastructure is still in development. But if you're looking for a place where your money stretches further and your tax bill stays light, Kosovo is a hidden gem worth noticing. And with both personal and corporate tax capped at just 10%, it firmly earns its spot on our list. So there you have it, a journey through Europe's most unexpected low tax havens. Now, what ties all these places together isn't just a number, it's the message. Europe may be known for its high taxes, but the truth is more complicated. Hidden across the continent are pockets of opportunities where the burden is light and the rules are clear and the doors are wide open for entrepreneurs who dare to make this move. But let's be clear, choosing the right jurisdiction is never just about chasing a headline rate. Taxes are one piece of the puzzle, but you have to think about lifestyle, compliance, infrastructure, and your long-term goals. And that's exactly what we do at Emifast. So we help you see the whole picture. So your plan isn't just about smart today, but a sustainable tomorrow. And this was only part one. So we have shown you the 0 to 10% gems in Europe, aside from the obvious Monaco and Andorra. But in our next video, we'll take it a step further, exploring other havens that are quietly competing with big players in the Caribbean, the Middle East, and even South America. Because the truth is, there are still more countries across Europe, from the Balkans to the Baltics, where income tax fall under 20% and where the mix of affordability, access, and opportunity makes them just as powerful as the headline-grabbing tax havens. So if you thought Europe was only about high taxes, think again. This content still holds surprises and we're just getting started. At Emifast, we don't just tell you about these opportunities, we help you unlock them. So from structuring your business to securing a second residency, our mission is simple: to help you keep more of what you earn and live a life on your own terms. If you're ready to explore your options, click the link in the description, book a consultation, and let's design your global strategy the Emifast way.